Have you ever felt like owning a home, becoming a governor, taking part in a living, breathing MMO world? Well, that appears what New World is trying to accomplish with its settlements and housing systems. What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and in today's Q&A, I guess that's the best way to phrase it, we're going to be going over the latest updates regarding making your mark on Eternum and making your mark regarding playing housing in the world of New World MMO. Sometimes I feel like you gotta just tag on that MMO so people know what we're talking about. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. There's a lot of information here. There's a lot of questions that come about this as well. And also, we're going to be covering New World. I've pre-ordered. I'm waiting to get in April, and hopefully it's a little bit sooner. So we're going to be seeing lots of updates from us regarding this upcoming MMO by Amazon Game Studios. It's a first. It's going to be unique. We're going to keep discussing it. So if you feel like we earn your subscription with this video or you're already subscribed, thank you. But make sure you hit that subscribe button anyway, ring that bell for future updates and more. So staking a claim and working together as a community is a critical step in the path of dominance in New World. Eternum is divided into distinct territories, many of which have their own settlement and fort. To find out more about how you can own a piece of Eternum, we sat down with the lead systems designer John Liberto to discuss the ins and outs of settlements and governance in New World. So what is a settlement? Settlements are where players live, congregate, craft, trade, work on town projects, and support their faction through faction missions. Death is not the end in Eternum, so settlements also serve as a respawn point for players unfortunate enough to have fatal mishaps on their adventures. So how do you claim a settlement? During the early stages of the game, players must choose between one of the three factions, and they're going to have more on that in the future. Once you choose a faction, you can create or join a company. When a company is created, it inherits the faction of its creator. Companies can gain and control a territory and the settlement or the fort that it contains. If the territory is uncontrolled, this is as simple as paying the claim fee at the territorial's fort. If the territory is already controlled by a company, the territory must be taken through war, which can only occur between companies that belong to different factions, and they're going to dive further into this in the future, so stay tuned for that. What is the difference between a settlement and a fort? Well, a settlement is where players own homes, they craft, they refine items, trade, take faction missions, and socialize. A territory's fort is the major point of defense for the territory. It is what comes under attack during war, the PvP mode, and invasion, PvE mode. And it's where players need to go in order to claim the unclaimed territory. So how do you become a governor? The leader of the company is called governor. Initially, a company's governor is the person who created it. When a company takes control over the territory, the governor of the company also becomes the governor of the controlled territory. But what can you do as governor? Well, ultimately, the faction that the company belongs to is the true ruler of the territory. Companies act as a proxy for the faction that they are part of, and as a governor, your responsibility is to maintain control of your territory for your faction. You are also responsible for upgrading and maintaining the quality of life in your settlement by starting town projects that result in settlement upgrades when completed. Dues in the form of territorial upkeep must be paid to the faction your company is a part of. In order to pay this upkeep, the governor can adjust taxes and fees in their settlement so that travelers and residents help to pay the upkeep as they craft, trade, and live in their houses. They also can make up their settlements more desirable to own a home by focusing on particular upgrades for particular types of players. So what is a consul and what can they do? A consul is a governor's second in command. A company can have as many or as few consuls as it wishes. Consuls have them almost all the same permissions and powers that the governor of the company has and the territory they control. Ultimately, a consul can do the things the governor might need to do in the governor's absence. Being a governor can be a demanding role to play in New World, and the consul rank in the company is a way for governors to share some of the responsibilities with the company members that they trust. I think trust is going to be an underlined statement here. What and how can you upgrade your settlement? Well, a settlement's crafting and refining stations can be upgraded. Now, upgrading these stations enables higher quality and more powerful items to be crafted by the players that spend their time there. Additionally, a territory's life cycle and buffs and fort upgrades are controlled by the governor. Life cycle buffs are powerful long-term bonuses for things like crafting and combat that only apply to your territorial residents. Residents are people who own houses in your settlement. Now, if a player does not own a house in a settlement, they will not receive the territorial lifestyle buffs. Like the other upgrades, lifestyle buffs are activated through the town projects set by the territorial's controlling company. So what is a town project? Well, town projects are large-scale activities people can work on together to upgrade their settlement. Now, a town project requires a significant amount of effort and investment, not only from the controlling company, but also from the players that call that settlement their home. Town projects are activated by a settlement's governor or one of their consuls. When a town project is activated, players in the town can take missions that progress the project towards completion. These missions award XP and currency, among other things, but more importantly, they advance the town project. For example, let's say you want to upgrade your settlement's forge, which will enable weapon and armor crafters to create higher quality arms and armor for their adventures. To do so, you would have to activate the Upgrade Forge Town project, and then the members of your company and anyone else living in the town can work together to complete the project. So how does a settlement level up or level down? Each time a town project completes, the settlement levels up. Settlements begin to level down when upkeep is not paid to the controlling faction, or if a player fails to repel a corrupted invasion. Now, they're going to dig more into those invasions here in a little bit, not obviously in this video, so stay tuned. How do you join a settlement? Well, while you use the services of any settlement, you join one by purchasing a house there. Anyone who lives in any house in any settlement, regardless of which faction that they are in or which company currently controls the territory. If a territory changes hands, the residents of the settlement are generally unaffected, aside from any changes to taxation, upgrades, lifestyle buffs, and new controlling company might make. Whether you aspire to be a governor, a highly valued citizen, or simply a wandering adventurer, settlements are a place that you'll want to call home and fight to protect. Governors are the leaders of the companies and the rulers of the territories. They are in a unique position in being able to shape their dominion and the lives of the players who call it home. They can be representative of the people, or they can rule with an iron fist. The question is what will you do with that power? So now let's dive a little bit more into player housing specifically. And if you're a Final Fantasy XIV player who's watching this video, I'd love to know your thoughts, especially when we talk about housing here in New World and housing as it relates to Final Fantasy XIV. An often contentious proposition over there in the world of Final Fantasy XIV. So let's dive in. Player housing is a highly requested feature, and it's going to give players the opportunity to own and personalize homes across Eternum. They want players to feel like they have roots in the world to experience ownership, security, and stability in a threatening and unpredictable land. Now, home ownership 101 here. It says, in Eternum, every settlement has a variety of houses available for purchase. Multiple players can purchase the same physical home location, but they will only be able to see their property and decor unless they are visiting another player's house. If you want to spend your time in your home with guests, our houses support a full player group of 5. All you need to do is have someone visit your house is to have them in your group with you. Now, in order to be eligible to purchase a house, you must first raise your standing within the settlement's territory. You do this by killing creatures, completing faction quests, working on town projects, and crafting items. Once you have reached a high enough standing level and your character has reached level 20, you can unlock the ability to own a home in that territorial settlement. If you want to own more than one house, you can do that too, as long as you meet the requirements for the house ownership in a territory that you do not own a home or own the maximum number of houses. You'll be able to buy another one. There's a lot of variety when it comes to housing, and so size, feature, cost. Some houses overlook the center of town, while others have balconies and nice views for the settlement walls. Some houses have exterior areas for decoration, while others simply just feature a front and back porch. There's a variety of locations and styles to choose from in each settlement, and the settlements themselves also have distinct aesthetics and the house designs, the floor plans specific for that settlement. Now, after you purchase your house, you can personalize your space, and they've added hundreds of items for you to use to customize your home. Everything from tables to chairs to decorative garden plants to hanging vines to help you design the property to reflect your tastes. Pieces of furniture and ornamental items can be crafted by players and purchased, while other items must be found by exploring and looting the world. On your adventures in Eternum, you can even find pets to bring home with you. Now, how does housekeeping work? This is really where it gets interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. So once you purchase a house, you must pay a small property tax to maintain it. This property tax is paid to the controlling company of the settlement. While failing to pay your property tax won't get you evicted from the house, which I think is probably the right move, It will stop mechanics like your house recall and trophy buffs from being functional to you. Additionally, while you can still visit your decorated house while the property tax is unpaid, you cannot rearrange your decorations, nor will your house be eligible to be displayed to others. So we'll talk about that. That's actually kind of also interesting. So once you own a house, you'll be able to use it as a recall point, and a tournament is vast and dangerous, and so the ability to recall home over great distances is very powerful. In addition to this recall ability, it's possible to create powerful magic decorations that give your character buffs when they are placed on display in your home. These quote-unquote trophies can be used to give yourself an advantage in combat against a particular enemy type, improve your crafting abilities, and more. However, each house can only have so many trophies on display at a time, so you will need to consider which advantages that you want to have on your adventures. There are social benefits as well. When you pass through a settlement, you can see the homes owned and decorated by other players. To determine which home other players see, by default, there is a competition behind the scenes. By decorating your house expertly and earning lots of territorial standing, your house gets shown off to everyone that comes through a settlement who does not own the same house as you. You can even see where you stand against the other players that own the same house though, so while there's in the housing menu, you can go and know who your competition is. So when a player finds a place to call home in a settlement, then they are joining a community of allies, skilled crafters, adventuring partners, and even adversaries. Players can invest in making their house in a tournament feel like a home with furniture and decorations, pets and trophies that give them bonuses to their adventures or in their favorite trade skills. We hope that the player's home becomes as special to them as not only as a familiar place to return, but after an exciting adventure, but also becomes a place to share with friends and to show off to others. So this is an interesting take on housing. At the end of the day, I'm very curious. We own a house in Final Fantasy XIV, and I've always let other people decorate it. But from the pictures and from everything that they're showing and highlighting, it's really clear to see that they've put a lot of thought into the system, and it reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy XI to a degree. In Final Fantasy XI, you could put things in your house and then add a benefit for you. There was kind of always that collection and setting in and of itself. So I find this to be very intriguing. I like that you can't lose your house, but I like that there's an upkeep to it. It's not kind of a one and done and forget. I like that you can be a governor. I like that you can kind of have settlements in that you're trying to raise and build together as a community. It feels very communal in that regards. It's going to be interesting to see how this works with the PvE, the PvP, and more. If you guys aren't aware, New World's going to be launching in May, and there's going to be early access if you preview. It's always of the opinion of this particular YouTuber, Brian here, to say, just wait. You can pre-order and jump into the beta when the beta's out. Hold on your money. Be smart about it. But I'm not going to fault you if you're excited and you want to pre-order anyway. You're an adult, do your thing. That's how I'm going to approach it. I've pre-ordered. I'm curious. There's a lot in this game that seems to appeal to me as a specific type of gamer. And it's going to be a great test to see if what I think I want ends up being what I want. So like I said, if you feel like I've earned your subscription, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and also hit that like button. Share this video out with your friends, and let's sound off in the comments below what you're thinking, what you're feeling about New World. For Work to Game, my name's Brian. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me for the length of this video. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.
$100 billion.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that if you're new here, you hit that subscribe button, you come back for more. I hope you hit that like button, that share button, that alpha button, that omega button. If you haven't seen that omega button on YouTube, I'd be very careful about pressing it. Only do it under dire circumstances, but you won't regret it.